You've tuned in to a very special edition of the Wake Up Show Chicago, coming to you live and powered by the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce. I'm one of your hosts, MC Pearson, and today we have an enlightening discussion lined up for you. We are broadcasting in partnership with the African Diaspora Union, along with the National Black Chamber of Commerce and the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce. Together, we're delving into a groundbreaking initiative that promises to forge new bonds and open exciting opportunities, the Nigerian Dual Citizenship Initiative. This initiative is part of the African Union's sixth region agenda, which seeks to engage the African diaspora, descendants of those taken into slavery, in the building and development of the African continent. As an official partner of the African Union, we all are working closely with the Nigerian government to provide African American business owners with a pathway to gain dual Nigerian citizenship. It's a topic that not only connects us to our heritage, but also opens up new avenues of economic and cultural exchange. And to help us explore this topic further, we're honored to have with us today Mr. Larry Ivory, President of the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce and Chairman of the National Chamber of Commerce. Good afternoon, Mr. Ivory. How are you doing? Brother Larry, I need you to come up off of mute.
I said, can you hear me now? I said, I'm excited to be a part of this esteemed group to talk about Mother Africa. And my comments are going to be brief because I'm more excited about our special guests and what's going to happen today. But my comment is this, is that I've always understood the power of Africa and how important it is. And I tell people in America that Americans will never truly be respected economically until Mother Africa is respected economically. It has the most natural resources, everything, and we need to invest in Mother Africa to strengthen our own hands. So I'm excited today to have special guests, and I'm excited about my next guest I'm getting ready to introduce. He's a guy who knows his way around the world when it comes to international trade and doing business globally. He has been the arm of the National Black Chamber of Commerce as president, CEO. But before even that, he was involved heavily in leading our international initiative. So it's a perfect fit. So at this time, I'd like to have some brief comments from Charles DeBow, and then we're going to turn it over to Dr. Muriel McClurkin. So, Mr. DeBow, Mr. President, you're on.
Having me, but having our presence in this vital discussion. It's against a backdrop, and I'll just take a moment to shape it. Most of us on here, we have some idea what's going on with our businesses, with our communities, with our lives right now. Black businesses is under attack. And as we are losing market opportunity by linking and uniting throughout the diaspora, we are able to expand markets and to do business with each other. So we're really essentially following the principles and teachings of Booker T. Washington and casting down our buckets where we stand. We're going to improve, uh, bring about some excellence, and we're going to partner and link with our brothers wherever they may be in the world. But particularly today, we're talking about Nigeria, which is probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest, black market in the world with plenty of opportunities. And the conversation today about dual citizenship is something that's going to become of great value to us. So I'm excited. Thank you for having us. And I look forward to engaging and maybe being able to address any kind of questions or getting a feel from our audience of what their interests are. Thank you. You're muted. You're muted.
This gives us an opportunity to take us home and
Somehow your mute is popping on and off and on. Um, but I know that one of the things we were talking about doing is handing it over to Dr. Moriel. Dr. Moriel, while Larry's getting his
Okay.
mute
All right. Can everyone
straightened
hear
out,
me?
go ahead.
Can everyone hear me all right? Yeah. So first of all, Charles and Larry, it's an honor that the esteemed organizations such as the National Black Chamber of Commerce and the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce would partner with AFRIDU in this historic endeavor. I equate it to the civil rights movement of the 60s. I mean, I strongly believe I got involved
Like the network is
because I strongly
disturbing the
believe that
I don't know if it's from their volume.
please mute your microphones, please. Sister Clara, please mute. I equate it to the civil rights movement of the 60s and 70s because reconciling the great resources of the Africans of the diaspora with our brothers and sisters on the continent, I believe is the unfolding destiny for both Africa and for the African diaspora. And I strongly believe that the greatness of Africa and the greatness of the African diaspora can never be achieved until we are reunited. And so it was such a blessing to meet our guests, our honored guests, and I'll be introducing them from AFRIDU, Archbishop Okbu and his team, and began this historic endeavor to bring about restorative justice for those of us whose ancestors were carried away in the great captivity, in the great transatlantic slave trade. So we're looking forward to sharing what this dual citizenship initiative is going to mean for us in the diaspora and for countries like Nigeria. Nigeria is just the beginning. We know that 65% of those taken in slavery came out of Nigeria. And so we call it the giant of Africa. It's important that the giant of Africa take the lead. So having said that, let me introduce our special guest from the African Diaspora Union. I first want to introduce Archbishop Okbu, who is the president. I'll let him share some words and then I'll let him introduce the rest of our guests. So Archbishop Okbu, you're welcome. Thank you for joining us and thank you for bringing our team and thank you for leading this historic initiative. Share some background for us. Archbishop? Archbishop, can you hear me? Archbishop Okbu, can you hear me? I don't know if he can hear. You know, we're from all these time zones, so we're trying to reconcile all of this technology for its greatness. But while he's trying to come back in, let me introduce the diplomatic administrator for AFRIDU Nigeria, Dr. Breakfoot. Dr. Breakfoot, please introduce yourself and introduce those others who you have sharing with us today until President Okbu comes in. Dr. Breakfoot, unmute yourself and introduce yourself, please. You're muted. Can you unmute, please? Okay, Archbishop, can you hear me now? Dr. Breakford, can you hear me? Dr. Breakford, unmute, please. Unmute. Okay, then let me continue then until they get everything straight. A year ago in October, we had a historic conference in Abuja, Nigeria, where we introduced the whole concept of the dual citizenship initiative to the Nigerian populace. At that time, present was hundreds of dignitaries and individuals representing government, both national government, local government, state and local government, as well as industry, as well as other interested individuals. And the reception, when we talked about the need, usually when we talk about African Americans or those in the diaspora returning back to Africa, we talk about it from the standpoint of investors and tourists.
Hello.
Yes. Can you hear us now?
Yes.
All right. Can you share a little bit, introduce yourself and those who are with you, please? Dr. Breakford.
I'm having problem. Come do this for me, Joseph. Now, they want me to talk.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
go ahead,
want.
Dr.
Come do this
Griffin.
now. Let me
Yeah,
talk.
introduce yourself, please, Dr. Breakford.
Or somebody just come in now. Do this now. Let me talk. I'm not person here. We're not talking. The whole thing is shambles.
I don't think they can hear me. Dr. Breakford, can you hear me?
I'm not talking from here.
We can hear you, Dr. Breakford. We can hear you.
Is it name change? I don't know.
MC, let him know we can hear him.
Okay, then let me continue. So when we did this first conference in October last year, we emphasized not just the investment power of African and Africans of the diaspora combining together, but we said it was more important to restore the ancestral rights, homeland rights, citizenship rights of those in the diaspora. And when we put that message forward of bringing brothers and sisters back to Africa as citizens, as dual citizens, starting with Nigeria, the message was so well received. It was a resounding endorsement of that initiative. And so we began to work to lobby the Nigerian government and to prepare ourselves for a second conference that's going to be happening this
So you
year,
can talk now.
where we would then move to phase two of this initiative. And we're excited to be able to make this presentation to our chamber members, both the national and the state chamber members, because Mr. Pearson, can you mute them until they're able to get you straight? Are you able to mute them? Are you able to mute them? Okay. The reason why we wanted to have this opportunity, and I'm glad that Larry and Charles came on board with this, is because this is going to be a great opportunity for business persons of the diaspora. The Nigerian government has already assigned the diaspora, the official diaspora organization for the country, to be a partner in this. And they are looking forward to us being able to come to Nigeria as an advanced group, as well as to come to the conference, the international gathering in October of this year, because they're excited about this reconciliation at a whole nother level. And we know that this is not a path that no one has set foot on before. There have been a number of countries that have installed some levels of dual citizenship, but it's no different for those Africans of the diaspora than anyone else coming in. It's their traditional path, their regular path. This is going to be a shortened path. And what I said to the Nigerian people when I spoke at the conference in October, I said, if you restore our citizenship rights, then you won't have to worry about us investing and bringing business opportunities in anything else, because the destiny of Nigeria or the destiny of Liberia or any country that will give us dual citizenship rights will become our destiny. It makes more sense to align our destiny by making us family again, by bringing us back home, by inviting us back to those lands where we were carried away from, and restoring all of our rights of citizenship. And so this is what we believe is the pathway forward. We believe that the Nigerian government is asking us, how many brothers and sisters do you have that you think are interested in this initiative? And so the purpose of this podcast is to share what this initiative is all about and to begin to engage our brothers on this side of the Atlantic Ocean so that we can begin to gather information, collect information, on those who are interested, and share that back to with the Nigerian government and say, here is the brothers and sisters who are ready to move forward with this, so that we can move forward. So let me see, Archbishop, are you able to speak now, or are you still having? Just,
Yes, I had
we can hear you.
to.
We can hear you now. Yes, please.
We can hear you. Go
Okay,
ahead.
I had to
Yes.
use another this thing.
No, we
I
can
don't
hear
know
you
what
now.
happened.
No, don't touch
Okay,
anything. You can proceed now. Give us a background of AFRIDU and the vision and where we are now.
okay,
It's on you, Archbishop. Please speak.
okay. Thank you very much. You're welcome. I was lost from the beginning. Yes. Okay, let me explain this and what African Diaspora Union, AFRIDU, is doing. For many years, we've been involved in several summits, conferences, workshops, for the African descendants. We've been, trying to, whether it's in the US or in Europe or South America, the Caribbean, traveling all around. It's like circling the hill country of Say. Now, we understand exactly what has happened in Africa 400, 500 years ago. We understand, we feel it, and we've been trying to see the way out. And considering that AFRIDU is a civil society organization, is a pan-African organization, human rights and everything, dealing with all that. So we are now thinking, what is the way out with all the people running from pillar to post? Sitting with anger, sitting with everything. Now, we were part of the people that went to Ghana during the return of the diaspora in 2019. Actually, I did the opening prayer, prayed over the wall of the return. Now we see the whole things, taking place. But let me explain it from this part so that everyone will understand it. Then we'll be able to appreciate what we are trying to do. Because we understand that our brothers and sisters are seeking for reparation, and they're asking for reparative justice, which is about restoring them to the normal standard, restoring what has been stolen from them. Now, some people may not understand. Some people may not understand the issue of restorative justice or reparation. Let me explain it from this part. Peradventure, we all are siblings. We all in this very, discussion table. Peradventure, we are siblings, born of the same family. Suddenly one day, out of conspiracy, whether by manipulation or joint conspiracy of a chief or a king or those who were, slave traders. Now, some of the members of the family or the siblings were kidnapped. They were forcefully bonded away some of them brutally raped, humiliated, their dignity taken away from them. Now, forcefully, they were taken to an unknown world to be slaves, working in railways, working in plantations, and doing several manual jobs without pay, yet under subjection and humiliation. First, their dignity was forcibly taken away from them. Secondly, their inheritance, which they had with us, were taken away from them. Thirdly, their right of citizenship were taken away from them. Now, they find themselves in an environment where every day they are brutally subjected. For those of them that survived the trip, because they were carried through ship, and most of the people either were murdered. If we use the word killed, it doesn't match it. Either they were murdered after molestation, or some committed suicide, jumping into the sea to end it up. Those who eventually survived were subjected to unhuman living. Most of them put in chains and fetters and all what. Now, we don't want to talk about how they fought, managed to get their freedom as human beings. But those ancestors who were forcefully and brutally taken away had all the time relayed to their children, this is where they come from. Now, when the generations are growing, who identifies where they come from, their genealogy? Who found where they are? They may have some human rights existing, but yet there are so many discriminations and no places like home. Now they feel like coming back home. African Diaspora Union had looked at the United Nations 2015 Declaration of the African Descendants and the African Union 2012 Diaspora Declaration. And they have looked at it and mapped out what we call the tripod stand, AFRIDU tripod stand. Those ones that want to return to the motherland Africa, who have identified and believe this is where they come from, they want to return there with full rights of citizenship. And those ones who wants to return via investment, investing in the land where they come from. And those ones who believe they may not be able to return, but they want to affiliate, have an exchange program, cultural exchange program with their, motherland to identify themselves. Now, we've been working on that because we have actually seen that their cry is to return to the motherland and their rights of citizenship to be restored unto them. Now, I want to say this clearly. I do appreciate the African Union 2063 vision, which says it all. But in 2063, that could be the next 39 years ahead. I don't know those that will be alive then. Why not now? Why 2063? Now, AFRIDU have considered with experiences that happened either in Liberia or in Ghana, inviting an African descendant or an African diaspora to come and invest in an African country without giving them access to the land. It looks like scamming them the second time, because it becomes difficult to invest in a country you don't have access to, otherwise a country that should have been yours. So your right of citizenship needed to be restored. So AFRIDU have been watching, expecting to see a president that have lived in the diaspora that will understand diasporans before they take action. Luckily, we have a president in Nigeria who have lived in the diaspora, who we feel and we know will understand the hearts and desires of the African diaspora. That's why we have started pursuing vigorously the issue of reparative justice. The reparative justice, in summary, is about restoring what has been stolen from you. There's no amount of compensation from the United Nations or from African Union or European Union that will match restoring the rights of citizenship. There's no amount of compensation. So we believe that this is the time that the Africans in diaspora, which is African descendants, needs to come back home to their motherland. And by the way, you need to understand over 65–70% of the transatlantic slave trading took place in West Africa, predominantly, or if I call it the epicenter, Nigeria. And Nigeria have been acting the big brother to all African countries. And luckily, we have a president that have lived in diaspora who will understand the feelings and the traumas of the African diaspora to restore their rights of citizenship. I have here what we call the National Diaspora Policy by the NIDCOM, Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, in which you will also see it is recognized here the historic African descendants. So that Nigerian government already have at the back of their mind that we have brothers and sisters who were carried away forcefully in humiliation, denied their rights or stolen from them. And they have put it in the National Diaspora Policy of 2021. So what African Diaspora Union is doing the best to negotiate and to encourage the Nigerian government to restore the rights of citizenship to those who lost it many years ago. So I can stop here.
Thank you, sir.
Meanwhile, that's why we have put in the event from 1st to 7th of October, International Gathering in honor of the Africans in Diaspora in Abuja. But I know that the diplomatic administrator, Dr. Breckford, cannot come into that.
Archbishop, will you introduce the rest of the team, starting with Dr. Breckford, and let them share a little bit more about the details of this dual citizenship effort and the conference that's going to be held in October.
Okay. I have with me here Dr. Breckford Abraham Onwuboye, who is the diplomatic administrator of Nigeria, AFRIDU diplomatic administrator. In African Diaspora Union, every country, we have diplomatic administrator who act like the chief commander or the prime minister in that country. Now, we have him here, and we also have Barrister Clara Ndive, who is with us here, and also Barrister Grace Ekenem, who also is here. I don't know if Dr. Alaneme is also here. So some of these people are technocrats who have served in the Nigerian government, different areas with experience. They are part of the committees that are planning, for the 1st to 7th October event. So His Excellency Dr. Breckford Omoboya can explain more in details.
Dr. Breakford, are you able to share now?
Okay. Yes.
Please, go ahead. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Dr. Murray, it's good to see you again.
Likewise.
Your Excellency, Mr. President, to see you and all of you here, very distinguished gentlemen. I want to thank you for putting this program together. We are here in Nigeria representing the African Diaspora Union and working to ensure the successful homecoming of the African descendants in the diaspora. My team working together to ensure that the vision and the mission of AFRIDU is achieved. We have put together an event in October. Remember that last year, November 2nd, the African Diaspora Union was officially launched and unveiled in Nigeria, where Dr. Murray and others were. In that conference, Mr. President announced the need for the international gathering in honor of African descendants in diaspora, AU 6 region, and also need to Global African Investment Summit, our brothers and sisters coming into Nigeria. So since then, we have been working very hard, putting together, reaching out to the major stakeholders in Nigeria. We are ready to the Mr. President of Nigeria to express our intention in all parts of the world that we have the African descendants to homecoming to Nigeria, because we believe that they are from Africa. They belong to Africa. Africa is ancestral home, is their root. We all knew what happened do this, the transatlantic slave trade, when our great great grandparents, uncles, and aunties were forcefully taken away from Africa. So we look at this event as a very, very important event. The event is in two folds. One, the international gathering to honor the return, the homecoming of the African descendants of,
Dr. Breakford? No, you're having some trouble.
Yeah, it appears the network broke off.
Would you like Sister Clara to share a little bit about the investor efforts that we're putting together, Archbishop?
Okay, yes, I can share that. And
Go ahead.
if he's restored, he can continue.
Do you want to introduce Sister Clara to share, or you want to wait till Dr. Breakford to get back on?
I think maybe there's a place Barrister Clara will come in, but Dr. Breckford is in a better position to explain that.
Okay, so since he's
Otherwise,
not on,
I could carry on.
Yeah, carry on. Let me say a few words. What we are looking for here, as we are reaching out to African American businesses and business persons throughout the diaspora, in the Caribbean, in Europe, and in other places outside of Africa. Number one, we are looking to demonstrate to the Nigerian government interests. On our website, www.afridu.org, www.afridu.org, we have created a survey. It is a very non-intrusive survey, which allows us to know who's interested, what type of business are you in, how long you've been in business, what area of business, have you done your DNA test? If yes, did it show any relationship at all to Nigeria? We need as many business persons as we can get to complete that survey so that we can demonstrate the interest. We want to make sure the Nigerian government knows that African businesses of the African diaspora are interested in this dual citizenship initiative. So it's going to be very important that we spread the word, get as many people as we can onto our website at www.afridu.org and complete the survey. You'll see it listed as the Nigeria Dual Citizenship Survey on the home page of the website. So that's number one. Spread the word. Get as many people to go onto our website, fill out the survey, show your interest so that we can demonstrate to the Nigerian government your interest. The second thing we're doing is, and again, I'm happy to be in partnership with Larry and Chuck. We're looking to take an advanced group over, hopefully sometime in early June or late May. Larry and I are going to finalize the date this week. Why is this advanced group important? Because we want to do two things. One, we want to be able to sit with heads of the Nigerian government and departments to begin to discuss the initial group who will be able to apply for this dual citizenship, as well as to talk about an investment collaboration. That's going to be very important because we want to be able to identify on this side of the Atlantic Ocean those businesses who are interested in partnerships and joint ventures in Nigeria, and on the Nigerian side, partners that fit the interests of those of us on this side. So we want to be able to, as an advanced group, meet some of these potential Nigerian partners. We know that there's interest in the mining sector. We know that there's interest in the energy sector of Nigeria. We know that there's interest in the telecom sector of Nigeria. I've received documents of interest from those in the agricultural sector in Nigeria. And so we don't want to show up in November or in October without having done the due diligence of taking an advanced group, meeting with those in these different sectors, vetting what these opportunities look like, and being able to come back and report to our business constituents here in the U.S., in the Caribbean, and in other places where the diaspora is spreading. So that's going to be very important. And then for those of us who are moving in this first wave, because we know every interested person won't be able to get their passports uh, uh, this year, but we're pushing to have the Nigerian government show a good so that certain persons who are moving very strongly in the leadership of this initiative will be able to give all the documents they would need to be able to receive their citizenship papers, their passport this year, and hopefully at the conference that's going to be in October this year. So there's a lot of work to be done on both sides. The Dr. Breakfort is working, continuing to build partnerships on the Nigerian side with government, along with his team in the business sector, and we're working on this side to build an interest and to make sure people act upon that interest so that we can bring this together, this historic movement, and show the first fruits of it. So I think Dr. Brickford is back. You want to continue sharing very quickly, please, very quickly, because we don't want to keep people on for long. We have questions that have been asked, and we want to get to some of those questions. So Dr. Brickford, please, kind of share a little bit more and then introduce the others, and let's wrap up in about 30 minutes, in about 15 minutes, so we can take some questions.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. Sorry, the weather is very bad here. It's raining.
Okay.
Quickly, uh, we have designed two events. One that we expected that before the October event, that there should be an advanced team from your end, from the diaspora, from US, Canada, that will come into Nigeria to first of all interface with the major stake actors, Nigerian government, the agencies of government, if possible, the leadership of Nigerian government, to explain their commitment for the October event. Then we also expect that everybody should arrive in Nigeria latest 30th of September this year. On the 1st of October, we expect that the African descendants who are in Nigeria will be guests of the government of Nigeria to attend the 64th Nigeria Independent. On the 2nd of October, we also expect that the presidency will be hosting you uh, as a on welcome reception to Nigeria. On the 3rd of October, we have the opening session where Mr. President will declare the occasion open and also officially launch the African 12 Apostle Book and give postmortem award to our African leaders who paid the price for the liberation of Africa. Then on the 4th and the 5th of October, we'll be having the Global Africa Economic Investment Summit, where Nigeria businessmen and other African businessmen that will come into this occasion, because the October event is an Africa event being hosted in Nigeria. So we expect people, head of states, prime ministers from other African countries, businessmen and women from other African countries visiting Nigeria for this event. So the 4th and 5th October will be the Global Africa Economic Investment Summit, where the African descendant business owners will be interfacing with the government of Nigeria to see the investment opportunities in Nigeria, also interfacing with the private sector businessmen in Nigeria to also see the area of partnership, either by joint partnership or PPP, public-private partnership with the Nigerian government. So it's going to be business, in mining, in oil and gas, in agriculture. Nigeria is a blessed nation with diverse mineral resources. Nigeria is the world best destination for investment. So there's a lot of opportunities of investment for you as you come to Nigeria to interface with various sectors, from agriculture to infrastructure, oil and gas, to mining, energy, and others. So there are a lot of opportunities for. So that investment summit is 2 days here in Nigeria. So we expect that before now, those African descendants that want citizenship should also let us have their profile. Those who want citizenship, let us have their profile, have the also those who have the evidence of DNA that they are from Nigeria, have the such evidence. We put together, we make a submission to the Nigerian government seeking for presidential waiver for those who want citizenship. In Nigeria, we have various forms of citizenship. Let me just quickly say that we have the citizenship by birth, citizenship by descent. Descent means descendant. Those born outside Nigeria, one parents or grandparents is a Nigerian citizen. You can apply for Nigerian citizenship by descent. It allows you to have a dual citizenship. We have citizenship by registration if you are married to a Nigerian citizen. We have citizen by naturalization, foreign national who live in Nigeria for at least 15 years that want to be a citizen. We have citizens for special case of Commonwealth citizens. So we have various area of citizenship for those. So we are believing that AFRIDU, the presidency have directed an agency of government to work with African Diaspora Union to ensure that this is successful. So we want to explore the opportunity. So we want everyone that wants Nigerian citizenship to give us the profile, the picture, because Nigerian government will not want to give citizens to who do not add value. So you must have capacity to add value to the Nigerian economy. So we have put all this together. I have discussed that with Dr. Morin, uh, why we need this document to enable us prepare ahead of time of those who want citizenship. Those who want to do investment, we're also profiling companies that we can pair to work to an area of investment. In every area of investment we're interested. So we are doing everything possible to ensure that the October event will be the most
Yeah,
event. So I will allow very quickly,
very
in
quickly,
few maybe 2 minutes,
very
Baris,
quickly, very
Barisa,
quickly.
yeah, Barisaka, is she there? Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, very quickly.
Incentive.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good evening.
Good
Yes,
evening.
I'm here to do a summary of no, it's okay, of investment opportunities in Nigeria, and I would like to make a note of reminder that we had done a 36 pages document on investing in Nigeria. Yes, we can find it on www.afridunigeria.org. So I'm going to make a brief summary of investment opportunities. Then I refer you to that with due respect, gentlemen in the House. When it comes to investment opportunities in Nigeria, we have the oil and gas sector and the non-oil sector. And I'm going to dwell on the non-oil sector on agriculture. Agriculture is the biggest non-oil sector investment roadmap we have in Nigeria. And this agricultural uh, non-oil sector, it's a very big sector where it employs the labor force of the youths of about 65% in Nigeria. And there are very great opportunities to invest in agriculture in Nigeria. We have a vast land of 84 million, which only 40% have been tapped in agriculture. And therefore, we have the agro business, which we have the crops like cashew nuts, we have cassava, we have palm oil products, we have granules, we have fruits, and we have also cocoa, which is one of the very lucrative product for investment in Nigeria. And it has a very large demand for export. So this opportunity, we can delve into that. AFRIDO will be the main people to investigate the areas where this agricultural farming or activities is going to take place and let the African descendants know about that. Also, we have the value chain of agriculture. The value chain of agriculture, where we have from the farm to the table, we have rice, which production is 30,000 metric tons per annum. It's also a very good product for us to invest into. Then also, A quick one on the tourism also is another area for investment where we have investment opportunities in Nigeria. And in tourism, we have historic areas in various states in the country where we can do tourism and also entertainment. That's the Nollywood industry. The film industry is the largest in Africa and it contributes to the GDP of the country about 2%, thereabout. And also, we have a very huge area in the south where they have the Olumo Rock in Abeokuta and Oshun areas also. Also in Taraba State, we can do a lot of investment on tourism. Now we have the mineral resources in Nigeria, which the government is paying particular attention from non-oil. We have 44 mineral resources that have not been tapped, and these are in commercial quantities. And it's a very good opportunity for us to look into these minerals. Some of them are gemstones, precious stones, and industrial minerals. And we have this in 36 states in Nigeria. They are similar. You can want to invest in any of the states. I will respectfully advise you go to the website on www.afridunigeria.org, where you see all the 36 states minerals. We have gold, we have limestone, we have lithium, we have kaolin, we have barytes, we have coal, which can be used from coal to power. Also, there are other further minerals that can be chosen from there. We have barytes, we have bentonites. And these minerals, we can find out statistically, we can see that like lithium, you can have a production per month, 46,000 metric tons of lithium. And we have already started doing the processing of this lithium in Nasarawa State. We're not only doing the exploration, but we have to add value to the products before they are being exported. And fortunately, yesterday, the Minister of Mines and Steel Development has said
I think you broke up. So I think that Dr. Breakford, that gives us a good overview of the various investment opportunities, and certainly people can go on our website to learn more. Let me, since she's breaking up, let's segue to some of the questions. There have been a number of questions that have been posed, and I think it would be good for our MC to kind of address some of those questions to us. So one of
sorry.
Yes, Dr. Miss Clara, we're going to take some questions real quick. And
Yes,
and
please.
and Archbishop, you can answer too. If certainly we there are what we are trying to do, what we need to do is we're trying to identify where there is an interest in different areas. So two things. One, if you go on our website, www.afridu.org, and fill out the survey and let us know that you are focused, your business interest is focused on culture or travel or tourism, then we will be able to have that information. If you want to send, just let us know that also by email. I'm going to give you the email to our president, and to myself. The first email is to our president, Archbishop Okbu, which is president@afridu.org. President@afridu.org. You can also send any inquiries to me. I'm the AFRIDU U.S. Canada Ambassador at m.mcclurklin, m.mcclerklin at southlandccp.com. And Mike, if you can share that, m.mcclerklin at southlandccp.org. And of course, if you want to direct any questions, if you direct any questions to Larry or to Chuck, they will certainly get them to us and we can
Dr.
respond.
Muriel, let me make a suggestion real quick. Is
Okay.
that we have a link of that website on our sites also. I'll talk
Okay.
to Chuck
Great.
on the national level, but that way when people come to our site, they'll have
Perfect.
that piece there also, so we're
Perfect.
connected in a way that keeps everything going.
Perfect. 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 Next,
That website on our sites also.
next question.
That way.
Archbishop, can you explain? He explained it, but can you explain it in more detail? What, even though there are many processes, the approach that AFRIDU is using for this, the special dispensation. Can you explain that, Archbishop, please? You're muted. Unmute yourself. Okay. Yes, go ahead. You're still muted. We can't hear you. You're still muted. We were able to hear you before.
Yeah, Dr. Muriel, maybe if he can't, you can get the answer to that, and we can get back
Yeah.
to Ms. Young.
The,
And
the,
let
an- the
the answer.
answer the answer to that very simply is that yes, we're working to bypass the normal visa process. We're working through the president's office to get a special dispensation to be able to bypass that. There will still be some documents we will need, but it won't be the normal process. That's what our efforts are aimed at. Please.
Okay, I think I'm unmuted now.
Okay. Yes. Go
Yes.
ahead.
Okay, this is what we are doing. We know that according to the Constitution of Nigeria, the President of Nigeria has an exclusive right to do a waiver. And we've been waiting for a long time to have a president that has a diaspora experience, that understands the problems of the African descendant. And the current president we have, Senator Ahmed Tinubu, His Excellency, is experienced because he has lived in the diaspora and he understands. That's why a commission they referred us to work with, a diaspora commission, also have in their destiny, diaspora policy listed also the historical African descendant. So we are working in a way whereby there will be a waiver based on the exclusive rights of the president.
Thank you. Thank you. Next question, please. We just want to take a few more so we can be able to wrap up. A few more. There are phases to it. We're in the first phase of this year. The reason why we had the conference in last year was to launch this initiative, announce it to the government, announce it to the business sector and the people of Nigeria, which I spoke to and spoke in all the news apparatuses there. This year, we're bringing what we believe would be the first wave. We're showing the power of interest. So we are asking, that's why we're bringing an advanced group and we're holding this second conference. We are pushing that some people may this year be able to benefit from that. But that's going to depend a lot on not just what they're doing on the Nigerian side, but what the efforts we're putting in on this side. We're not talking about 2063 as the AU was proposing, but we're trying to move, in a phase process with that within a year or two, that some people within a year, some people within 2 years, some people within 3 years. We're trying to make this a movement, and that's why it's important that we push this on both sides.
Yeah. Hey, Dr. Muriel, if
Yeah, Larry, go ahead.
no, I was going to make it's probably I was just going to make this comment to my brothers from Africa. I did my ancestry, and I'm 38% Nigerian. So I just want you to know you're my brother for real.
You are welcome home.
We're gonna
You are welcome home.
you're going to take two more questions, and then we're going to wrap up. Then, just two more questions, please. Well, there's two. We're in partnership with Chuck, and we're in with Charles, and we're in partnership with Larry. And so you certainly will be able to follow it through our own website. We will be doing more providing more informational updates on our website. Certainly Larry and the Illinois and the National Black Chamber and the Illinois State Black Chamber will be doing updates because they're our partners in leading this phase of the initiative. And so certainly you'll be able to continue to receive updates from them. And if you go on our website and fill out the survey and we have your email as a part of that survey, we'll certainly be sending out email updates to all those persons too.
Yeah. If I can say this, Chuck,
Sure.
Chuck DeBow, Chuck, if you're still on, you want to add anything to that? Any suggestions that you have?
Yeah, and I thank everybody for bearing with us through the technical challenges. There is a significant collaboration, cooperation between the government agencies as well as the private sector, and we'll look forward to working um, with all of you here to bring our members and our resources together. We just had a forum last week with George Washington, and we did have good Nigerian representation there. But we're working with a number of countries, and we would invite you to bring the investment opportunity, and we would lead with the investment opportunity to attract the businesses in those particular sectors, and then the citizenship would be part of the mutual exchange and the beginning of it. But the Illinois Black Chamber is leading the way for us on this. And thank you, Dr. McClurkin and the esteemed panel today. Appreciate it. And we look forward to working with you. Thank you.
So, Larry, I think it's best we just do a closing statement, or, some closing remarks, and then I think we can let everybody go. So, Larry, do you want to share anything before we go?
No, I would just say to Dr. McClurkin for bringing us this incredible opportunity to meet our brothers from across the Atlantic to come together, because I believe our strength is in our unity. And if we're strong, we're collectively strong together as a family. So I'm excited to get back to the motherland and to strengthen his hand, because there's no country, no continent more powerful with natural resources. And it should be the economic giant, not America, but Nigeria and Africa should be the lead economic giant. And we're going to have to help that to become a reality as we work to close together.
Thank you. Thank you. Archbishop, do you want to say anything in closing before we close out?
Well, I can only thank you people for giving the opportunity to listen to us. We are working this out 24 hours, and almost in every continent, the AFRIDU is actually working, you know, consistently to ensure that this is a reality. We understand the burden, we hear their heart cry, we feel it, we know what they desire, and we will do the best we can to ensure that the president will do the needful. In fact, we know that he is the best president that can make this happen because he has lived in the diaspora.
Okay. Thank you.
And we will be
Thank
posting
you.
all the links and all
Thank
the
you.
email addresses in the show notes, both on YouTube and on Facebook. We'd like to thank you for listening to the Wake Up Show Chicago.
Hey, Michael, before you close, I do want to have the last comment from the diplomat, gentleman from the policy side, and then we'll close it out. I want to
Dr.
make sure
Breakfast,
everybody he gets Dr. Breakfast.
Dr. Breakfast, you want to say in the last word?
Yeah, I want to thank you for this opportunity, but I want to make it very clear that Nigerian government have shown commitment for the homecoming of the African descendants in diaspora, Caribbean, from Canada, from all parts of the world, and to give them an opportunity uh, to look into the demand of reparative justice. Um, just as Mr. President, just as the Archbishop Professor Wu, our president, said, the Nigerian government, we are trying to see how we can get the Nigerian government to give a presidential waiver, but we cannot succeed without having the shortlist of those who are interested for citizenship in Nigeria. We need to have their profile. We need to have the value chain. We need to have the details so that we can make presentation and requests for the presidential waiver. You can't get it by mere pronouncement. There must be a documentation process to see if we can, to see how we can secure the presidential waiver. But
Yeah.
most importantly,
Yeah.
is the investment climate in Nigeria. It is important, just as I listened to the president of US Chamber of Commerce, Dr. Raleigh Avery, he said that America cannot transform economically until the mother Africa is transformed economically.
Yes.
And until Africa rise up, the whole world will remain, will not be able to rise up, will not get it right. So, and he said there's need to invest in the mother Africa. So there's need for all the African American businessmen to look towards reviving the African economy vis-a-vis Nigeria.
Thank you.
For your demand for reparative justice is being looked into. We are working towards that to get your citizen right. But also consider the importance of economic investment in Africa to revive Africa economically, because that is where you belong to. That is your
Thank,
root. That is
thank you.
ancestral home. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you. So, Larry, again, let me thank both you and Charles for extending this opportunity to share in your space this great opportunity. And I'm so excited about the partnership. I look forward to the advance, identifying those who will be able to travel earlier with us and make those connections. So, again, thank you. And thank you, Mike, for hosting us. Thank you
MC
so much.
closes out, man. MC closes out.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it all. Follow us on all those platforms. We're going to put all the links in the chat, both on Facebook and on YouTube. Once again, thank you from the Wake Up Show Chicago, the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce, and the National Black Chamber of Commerce. Peace.